All right, I guess it's time to get started. Close Discord real quick. Boop. And we'll come over to single cam. Hey there. It's Monday, September 23rd in the afternoon, and I am Rob, aka That Developer Dad. And we're working on a Blazor dotNet application that is going to be hosted up in Azure. There's already a version of it there, but I haven't updated the deployment in quite some time. I'm going to have to get around to redeploying the most recent stuff soon and doing some testing up there. But I do want to get some UI stuff sorted out before I start inviting my first cohort of beta private beta users. So let's flip to the screen and I'll show you what I'm working on today. So we'll spin up the app and so when the application occasionally needs to contact some stuff in the back end, like the database or the AI models or whatever, and I want some visual indication that it's working on whatever process is running so that the user doesn't get confused or think something bad is happening or whatever. So I've started to add a cascading sort of wrapper around the various components in the UI. You can see here this loading NPC list up top. It's working here, but it doesn't appear to be working elsewhere in the NPC feature area when other things are going on yet. And this is kind of where I left off this morning with troubleshooting why sometimes this component loading or content loading component is sometimes null further down the render tree. So we'll see what's happening. It seems like the database is still waking up. Once we've got it actually popping up the way I want it to here and there, we're going to be improving how it renders while these longer running processes are happening. So here's that. We'll go back to the list and we'll go to create. I'll just roll the dice a few times. Jeweler grew up as an urchin. You know what? I like the half elf. I like the jeweler. Not sure I love the urchin. So let's keep rolling. Grew up as an entertainer. Okay, so here's where I had wrapped the generate AI in the show the loading thing, and it wasn't working for me this morning. And we can see here that loading overlay is null here. So I think what I need to do, and we can stop the application here. I'm going to try in the constructor for this. So create NPC page model. Let's say loading overlay equals loading overlay, but if null, we're going to instantiate a new content loading component. Save. Let's see what that does for us. I don't know that that's going to do what I want it to do, but we're going to find out. So much of software development is FAFO coding. Fool around and find out. So let's see. We'll go into the NPCs. All right, we can see our loading. And here's that. We'll create, roll. Yeah, okay, we'll generate. And it does not appear to be doing the things that I want it to do yet. At least not here. Are we still working? I can't tell what state the application's in. So let's come down here to here. And we'll see what's what, because it looks like it didn't go anywhere. So refresh, come into create, roll the dice, yeah, okay, and see what's happening. Loading overlay is not null, so that's good. Caption equals thinking. State is changed. Okay, it doesn't seem to be right here. To be re-rendered, okay. All right, let's stop. I wonder if this state is changed as necessary. Let's comment that out. Rerun. And we'll get to see it flash if, excuse me, if it's actually doing its thing. So sign in. Go to the NPCs. Okay, so state is changed is actually necessary there. So that means I need to look at so we'll save this. Let's take a look at create NPC Razor. So main is here. Create new clicked, blah, 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 blah. Div class, this.show for page state. It's preview. View NPC details. Visibility equals this.show for page state. Okay. So let me think. Thinking. Here's our page model. We're awaiting. I'm going to hit a breakpoint right here. Let's run it again and see if it's hanging up on the state is changed thing. So sign in. Load the NPCs. Create. Generate. Here we are. And it seems to have gone into some bizarro world, not paused state. Stop. What if I come out here and so we're not doing that stuff. Any errors that came back? Yeah, we're throwing. So it's working well here. Do I need to? I think I do. Instead of putting this in here, all right, so instead of doing this here, let's push this up into View NPC Attributes. And here's all that stuff. If Save button is handled, on AI button click. So let's come in here, go to Definition. What if I do it like this? Async task. And await. But first, I really don't want to push that panel out to all of the things. So I'm going to save this. Come back in here. Whoops. And I'm going to add await loading overlay dot set loading state true thinking await loading overlay dot set loading state false. Save. Let's try that. And I wonder if it's because my event handler wasn't async. So let's try signing in. Let's go. Load the NPC list. Create. Roll it again. Yeah, why not? Generate the AI description. Okay, we have an unhandled error here. Let's see what's in our. The render handle is not yet assigned. Okay. Let's stop. Comment. Comment. Save this stuff. Run it again. And see if it's a problem in the async AI call, or if it's somewhere in the actual UI goo. Create. Roll them. Yeah, we'll roll with this. Generate. Go. It's thinking, and it's back. Okay, so it appears that something screwy is happening in here. So let's uncomment this, restart the app. Restart. Sign in. NPCs. Create. Yeah, okay. Do I have a breakpoint here? Here we go. And let's push the button. We're at the breakpoint. We'll step in. Loading overlay is not null. Good. Task.delay. State is changed. And I think we have ourselves an exception. Yes, we do. Okay. So what that tells me is that it's the state is changed thing that's causing a problem. So go to implementation. We'll comment this out. Come into NPC list raiser. State has changed. Is there a state has changed async? Let's find out. Nope. State has changed. State has changed. Save. I don't like doing that here. That feels funny to me. But let's add the state has changed here. Save all. And let's try that. Sign in. Sign in. create. Okay, generate, step over. Whoops. Okay, but our thinking still hasn't shown up. Where might it be? Okay, NPC list. That's peculiar. Let's refresh. Okay. Now, stop. Wait. Excuse me. All right, let's see what's going on. Sign in. Do the thing. Okay, now instead of breakpoints on these, let's come into here. Drop a breakpoint here on await task.delay. Because I want to see what's happening while all of this stuff is working. So here's NPCs. We're here. Caption is loading NPC list, is working, is true. Continue. Is working is false. All right. Create. Yeah, generate AI description. Caption is thinking. Continue. But I don't see that div appearing here. So what I want to do is drop a breakpoint. No, not here, but here. Continue. Is working equals false. There we go. And I want to drop a conditional breakpoint. Conditional expression is true. Is working equals true. Close. All right, we'll save. I haven't hooked it up to save yet because it's not quite working for all of the things. So we'll go back to the list. Loading NPC list. Now, why is it not coming back to save NPC, create new, create NPC page states.details, state has changed. I feel like I'm missing something in here. Execute filter. Okay. All right, refresh. No, let's go to create. And we'll go back to list. Is working as true. Loading overlay exists. Continue. But that's still on the DOM. All right. Stop. I think instead of doing that the way I'm doing it, well, it looks like my remote desktop connection is taking a nap. Close, reopen. Yes, continue. Unlock the PC. I'd love to. Oh, jeepers. Why are you playing me for a fool? Hang on a sec. You know, bring out the Windows laptop. Open the case. Here we go. It's awake now. All right. Now, instead of doing things like this, where it's showing and hiding, what if I take a look at create npc.razor, visibility equals stuff, go to definition on this guy, string visibility, npc list.razor, task host add this.visibility. Okay, good. Shown hidden. Okay. So out here, if I get rid of this, and say class equals at excuse me, and I want to take a look at this. Nope, this as string. I'll copy that and pop in here. Is working as string, shown or hidden. Bring in the reference, save it all, and do this. Now I am going to drop a breakpoint there, maybe. Yeah. Get rid of that breakpoint. Come up here, sign in so that we get access to the stuff. Sign in. Hey, what's up, C Films? I'm doing good. How about yourself? Okay. Set loading state false. Continue. All right, that didn't seem to do anything for me necessarily. Loading overlay. Blah, 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 blah. Create, back to list. Okay, I see it here. And it's still visible. Let's inspect that element. Loading overlay class equals shown. And then state is changed. We'll add some awaits because I did make it async. This is async task. Let's go. It's coming. I'm working on getting a some sort of indication that the application is working in the background while it's running back-end processes. And I'm seeing inconsistent behavior from the loading component based on where in the render tree I'm invoking it. So I'm just trying to do some troubleshooting. Continue. All right, we'll go to create, come back to the list. Loading overlay exists. Good. And that's still showing up. That's very, very goofy. Let me put a breakpoint here instead. And what if I take this, not here, but this, and comment this out. I'm not being very scientific about this. I'm mostly just doing a FAFO. Sign in. NPCs. Window loading overlay. It's false. Continue. Good. Go to create. Go back to the list. Loading overlay should be false. Good. Continue. But this is still visible for some screwy reason. All right. So that thing that I just tried isn't working. So I'm going to pull this back out of here. That can go away. Get rid of this stuff. Save all of this. Pop back into here. And instead of setting this shown hidden classes, because that's obviously not working for me. Oops, come in here. At if this dot is working equals true. Paste. We'll do that. And state is changed. I wonder. Let's try this again. Sign in. Okay, so we got that. That worked. Back to the list. It worked again. Create. And generate AI description. Let's try it. And it crashes because loading overlay is null. Stop. What do we do? Let's bring this. I don't want to set it in the constructor though, or do I? All value, whatever. Control X. Uninitialized, no. On parameters set async. Let's try this. Go. Sign in. Grab the NPCs. Create. Generate. And it blew up again because the render handle is not yet assigned. Server, circuit host, unhandled exception, circuit, blah, blah, blah. The render handle is not yet assigned. Okay, so let's find out what this means. Copy. New tab, paste. Need to show a loading screen on the index razor. Yeah. Load equals new loading. Is loading equals is loading. State is changed. Index razor app settings.layout is not actually rendered anywhere. Component life cycles are managed by the renderer. Blah, blah, blah. Load state changed. Disable bootstrap alert to display the loading message. Main layout, inherits. Yeah. Sidebar. Login display, loading. Sync loading event, app state services loaded equals true. Booga. Service.load state change minus equals. Okay. So it looks like we got to get a little bit more sophisticated. This .invoke async state is changed. Feels a little weird. .invoke async state has changed. This feels really weird. Is there anything new with this project? Just, I got the usage stuff in last week. I think you were here for that. And I'm really just trying to clean up the more egregious yuckiness in the UI. This feels bizarre, and I don't know if this is going to do anything for me, but let's see. Howdy, new person whose screen name I can't pronounce. L9 on and on and on. Sign in. Once I get all this goo that's sort of ready for prime time kind of things done, I do want to pivot back to doing some more feature type stuff, but I want to get this into the hands of some end users before I start diving into new things, like new capabilities and so on. And this is still blowing up because the render fragment is not, or the render handle isn't assigned. So stop there. Now, what's the difference between where I'm invoking it? Oh, I wonder. Save that. Come out here. Let's go ahead and add it as a cascading parameter in here. Where's my loading overlay? Where is that? Here it is. I'm going to grab this. Copy that. Come in here. And all that stuff. Uninitialize, set option panel visibility. We'll do one of these. Okay. And let's try it in here. On create. Await. Loading overlay. Dot set loading state. True. Thinking. Await. Copy that. Paste it here. Set it to false. Save. Okay. Like if we push it way up into the render tree of the component that needs to be rendered and re-rendered. Let's see if that does what we need it to. Now I do need to come back to the page model and spin back down here. Comment it out here. Comment that. Comment that. Save. Let's try this. I really don't like inconsistent behavior. But it's not fully inconsistent because the context of where the code is being invoked from is different from loading the NPC list to running the AI thing. And it's thinking and it worked, and that's beautiful. Okay, so now we know that when I want to edit the loading message, I need to do that right around the event handler for whichever button is kicking off that process. So that means I delete this green code. Bye-bye. And I got to grab the loading overlay, cascading parameter, copy that, and I got to come into view NPC details, go into the save NPC clicked right here. We'll do that. We're going to do an await on this. This is becoming an async task instead of a void. Okay. And then I go await loading overlay dot set loading state true. Giving the NPC a home. A void task, there's no such thing. There's an async task, and a task is really just an asynchronous, or it's an object that kind of wraps around an asynchronous action that doesn't have a return type. It's like a promise that doesn't carry any data with it back in the JavaScript world. And then over here in loading state, if I go to the definition, we still have state has changed. Oh, nonsense, you can't do the thing. Now let's try it. And we sign in. I say sign in. Go to the list. And we create. And a retired gnomish entertainer who used to be a soldier. Let's generate the AI description. It's thinking. And now we can save. And it flipped, and we're back to the list. And we should have our little gnome entertainer who is retired. And that's wonderful. We go view. There they are. Back to the list. Now, we need to turn that into something a little bit more useful. So what I'm going to do is in npc list razor.cs, where we're doing the set loading state, I'm going to do await task.delay 5 seconds. Nah, 5 seconds is excessive. We'll do 3 seconds. Save it. Restart the app. Yes, stop debugging. And we'll be able to start styling the loading what's it. Oh, come on. Run. We've got about 5 minutes left in this afternoon's session. And I do need to keep it to 1 hour this afternoon, unfortunately, because I do have a very important Teams call happening at 3 p.m. and I want to give myself some time to prep for that. Okay, so we saw our loading. Go to create, go back to the list. Here's loading NPC list. All right. I need to stop the app yet again. I'm going to come in here, content loading component dot razor. We're going to add a new item. It's going to be a style sheet. Here we go. And it's going to be content loading component dot razor dot css. And what this basically does is creates some styles that apply only to that component that we're working in. So I'm going to close that down. I'm going to keep NPC list razor CS open, but I can close that and this. And the class that I want to manipulate is, or the item that I want to manipulate here is called loading overlay. So we're going to copy that. And class names in CSS need a hashtag. Or not class names, but identifiers. And I'm going to say font size, and let's say 2 rem, just to start, just to make sure I can affect the styles properly from here, that I've got it all happening correctly. So we'll do that. We'll sign in. Sign in. NPCs. Okay, loading NPC list. It did not do what I wanted it to. Excuse me. All right, I need to verify that I did that selector correctly. CSS ID selector. ID selectors, boopity boop boop boo. Hashtag that. Style properties, etc. Okay. Now, come out of the Solution Explorer. Make sure I spelled everything right. Content loading component dot razor dot css. I did that right. NPC list dot razor dot css. Good. Content loading component dot razor dot css. Excellent. Loading overlay. Save. ID equals loading overlay. And, oh, it's 2 o'clock. Let's come in here and say font weight bold. Save it. Hit that. Refresh. And it's still not doing the thing I wanted to do there. So I'm going to expand the view NPC attributes? No. It's not routes. NPC list razor.cs task.delay 15 seconds. Heck with it. We're going to make it really big. last thing that we're going to try, because I do want to hit the inspect on that and make sure it's behaving the way I want it to. Okay, so there's loading NPC list. Good. Okay, I guess it just needed a recompile. So it's thinking, it's trying, and there we go. Good. So that means we can start playing around with, tomorrow, we're going to start playing around with positioning and an actual overlay layer, z-index, stuff like that. So that's where it's going to start to get quite a bit of fun. And we're probably going to have to break the component a little bit so that it's always visible while we get the styling right. But tomorrow we're going to dive into getting this loading overlay turned into an actual overlay that basically blurs everything behind it and all of that happy stuff, and then vanishes again when the long-running task is completed. And maybe add some cute little graphics or something like that while the overlay panel is visible. But for today, I'd say we won the battle. We got this thing showing correctly. The technique here is using this cascading value component with child content right here. And of course, we have to assign the child content down here as our render fragment. And how we integrate it is on the page where we want this stuff wrapped, we add our content loading component, and then inside of there, all of the stuff that we want this thing to sort of overlay when it's rendering properly, and that's how it works. So we do need to, when we want to manipulate whether this thing is visible, push that manipulation all the way out into the UI event handler. So where I was trying to do it in the page model for the create NPC page model, that was the wrong way to do it. I needed to actually go into the individual page components and handle it on the and put this logic into the button click stuff. So on AI button click, here we go. I'm going to need to do the same thing here. And I'm going to do that right now. Await loading overlay dot set loading state true, saving, and it's not say it but set, copy, paste, and we set the loading state to false, and we're good. And that's great. So tomorrow we're going to start tackling the styling on that on this overlay component, so that instead of it appearing as just a blob of text up at the very top of the screen while something's happening, it's going to sort of superimpose itself on top of the UI that currently shouldn't be interacted with because the back end is working on something for us. So we got the mechanics down, and tomorrow we start working on the actual styling. So until then, take care of yourselves. Happy coding, and remember, this stuff's not easy all the time. You're gonna struggle with it. You're gonna fool around and find out. That's sort of the fun of software development. And even though I'm doing this with a fun project, my process for a formal project for like an employer is going to be very, very similar to what I'm doing here. I'm just going to be doing it a whole lot faster because I'm not explaining everything as I go. It's all going to be happening up here. Though I got to say, I do like the effect on the way I approach coding that doing these live streams has done for me. So I do need to drop. I have a important call. It's a job interview happening in a little less than an hour. So wish me luck. I like income because money is good. And I will see you all tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. I'm that developer dad. Be good to yourselves.